We are going to talk about the fundamental and vocabulary for ISO standard. The standard name is ISO 9000 2026. 2026 is the latest edition since the ISO 9000 has got changed, and then you have ISO 19011 auditing management system has got changed. So therefore now we are going to discuss about fundamental and vocabulary, and this will be very useful for all of you to interpret the standard and to complete to that requirement. So I always give an analogy, a simple analogy of, whenever you are implementing any standard, let's say ISO 9001. ISO 9000 is a certifying standard, and then you have a right wing in a flight and you have a left wing in a flight. Right wing is like ISO 9000, that is fundamental vocabulary, all the guidance you will get it from there. And then how to conduct an audit related to audit management system, whether first party, second party, third party, you will get it in ISO 19011. That I already covered this standard, and now we are going to talk about the fundamental and vocabulary. I always say that actually, so the English and you have something called standard wording are completely different. Sometimes you will not be able to interpret that standard word. From the English, you cannot literally translate to ISO. For example, take an example of preventive action. In English, you say anything which prevents the recurrence, you say preventive action, right? But here it is completely different, right? So therefore, it is always important to know, in order to interpret the standard, you must go to the vocabulary, you must go to the terms and definition. So the standard which we are going to pick up today is ISO 9000. What I will do, I will just brief this one, then we can go into much detail. Why this ISO 9000 has changed now is because digital transformation and technology been added. That's one of the reasons to keep that integration, digitalization, data management, new technology into quality management system. This is one of the prime reason why the ISO 9000 has got changed. Another one is that enhance risk and opportunities. When you say risk and opportunities in the ISO 9000, or you take from the any other main standard like ISO 9001 or aerospace standard, medical standard, the general interpretation is that you assess the risk and all that, right? But here what is very importantly is that prescriptive risk is there. Something you identify the risk, and then from there you identify the causes. That causes you try to control and minimize and all that. For example, you have a task, the task is manual driven, and then that is leading to high risk factor, and that you are trying to antidote, make the process automated so that the process is hale and healthy and the process will be within the low risk mode, right? So this is exactly the same thing. Now the word prescriptive risk is being added. And as you know that in the ISO 9001 2026, the climate change has got added. So therefore, mandatory analysis of climate change as a relevant context element. So that is being added there. And number 4, innovation and strategic alignment. Now objective also should have the business strategy. Generally, objective will have drawn from the quality policy, and then you have that, for example, the customer satisfaction. Then you have you have something called metric and all that you will add it, right? How to do and all that. But here you need to add the business strategy also as well. Supply chain resilience and adaptability is being added now. So how you can strengthen the requirement and managing the supplier delays and all that is being added now. So a lot of words being added related to that. Enhanced leadership and culture. So this has been added. Data accuracy in decision making. Since it is a technological era, more and more definition related to that is being added. Auditor competency and virtual audit is being added. So auditor competency, a lot of emphasis is there. So one of the thing is that, so you have 3 type of one. One is full, I'm talking about ISO 9000, Annexure A.6, and you have one is sampling. Number 1 is A6.2 is you have judgment based audit. A6.3 statistical method. In this one ISO 9000, lot of encouragement has gone for something called judgment based audit. You don't stick to completely checklist and all that. Come out from the checklist and then do more from that. So that is being added. And then virtual, what you can do in virtual audit and what you can do, what you cannot do in the we should do it only in the on-site audit. For example, let's say, so this is the task, now it is being done by RPA, robotic process automation, or AI. Now in the person has been done, you will ask that what is the, when the task was completed, who did, when did the task got completed, all that you will ask. Now you will flip the question, you will ask that, okay, whether the automation is being validated, when was the automation implemented, whether the planning of changes been there and all that, right? So this is something auditor competency is also there, and then continuously implement and all that. This is the main standard. These are all the key changes are coming up in ISO 9001. So now let's go back to the another one, the standard itself. Now I'm picking up the standard. So this is a standard which are gonna come up, ISO 9001 2026, right? Fundamental and vocabulary. And the requirement, the classes remain to be same. So first one is scope, normative reference, and terms and definition. And then fundamental of quality management system. The only 4 classes, those remain same. The only thing is lot of wording been added. What I really like about this one, although a lot of extra words been added related to climate change, related to data privacy, related to data protection, related to AI related, all that has been added. What I really like about this version is that everything, all the major concept has been given in the, they call it as a structural diagram. We can call it as a tree diagram, right? So there are 12 concepts have been developed using the tree diagram. That is very, very fascinating, and it is very easy to understand, implement and all that, right? So this is what we can take a look on this one now. So I will start with a few things, and it will be easy for you to comprehend that one. So let me go back here. So the concept of graphical representation they have given. When I say graphical representation, I'm talking about tree diagram and all that has been added. There are 12 concepts has been there. They started with the some simple example, and then we can talk about organization. Organization mean what is the context of the organization, top management, interested parties, involvement, engagement, all that related terms, right? You can easily get to identify and interpret it, right? And then after the management, the second tree diagram is on the management, and you have 2 management system. One is quality management system, project management. In quality management system, you have improvement. Good practice is a new word being added. Benchmark is a new word being added. And then project management, you know, when you say project, it all has to do with the project activity, organization, evaluation, and product life cycle, project phase, project management plan, all that, right? And then, so again in quality management system, you have planning, quality assurance, quality control, quality improvement. Very nicely, superb nicely is being explained using tree diagram. Further to it, I will talk about the process. Process also has been classified that way. And let me take few more examples. Requirement is very important word, right? Need or expectation that is been stated, generally implied or obligatory, right? So now you see that actually requirement, quality, object, grade. Again further you have statutory requirement, regulatory requirement. Again you have conformity, capability, traceability, dependability, all that very nicely they have given in this one. Action mean what is it? So for example, when you say action, you have a corrective action, you have preventive action, you have general actions, all that has been like on the other side. Action related to non-conformity, you have a preventive, correction, corrective action. Action related to permission, the concession, deviation, release. Action related to non-conforming product like scrap, regrade, repair, rework and all that, right? So very wonderfully been explained in this one, and a lot of techniques. Although the annexure, I'm just going back to the sampling technique, although they have not changed anything in annexure 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, but still they made in the upcoming classes, before they made it very clear that we have to encourage and take judgment based audit assets. So this is really nicely been come up. So I'm very excited, and I'm sure that whatever the information being given here is useful. Please do take care and follow the standard and implement the ISO 9000 2026. Thank you.